Hi, today I want to introduce a topic that's a little bit complicated, but it pertains to fitness and movement. And I just feel like now is a good time to talk about it. And I wanted to also use this video as an opportunity to introduce you to something that I do as a fitness method every single day, which is called the Tracy Anderson method. Okay, so if you know me, you know I do this every day. Or if you follow me on my fitness Instagram account, you'll see that I post moves almost every morning. Now, the Tracy Anderson method is basically a mat-based method that comes from America, that was created by a lady called Tracy Anderson. And it's, you know, somebody who doesn't know it might see it and go, oh, it's kind of like maybe Pilates or something like that. Or it's like, you know, like a gym class, like a mat-based gym class. And so, yes, it is mat-based, but where it differs is that it makes you move in a lot of weird directions, and it makes you develop a lot of different muscles, okay? And which brings me to one of the reasons I love her method, and I don't want to get into all the reasons why I like her method today, but one of the main ones I want to talk about, the one I want to talk about today, is the fact that it develops, because she does a variety of movements, she develops something called proprioception, okay? And proprioception is something that's really important for human beings in general, but especially as you age, it's very important because it deteriorates for most people. Now, what is proprioception? For those of you who've never heard the term, it's basically your body's ability to move in space, okay? So I did a Neuropilates diploma last year, and where I basically learned a lot about movement and how it affects your brain and nervous system, and how your brain and nervous system affect movement. And it was a diploma that I did with an organism here in Dubai called Body Hack. And doing the courses with them really made me learn a lot about proprioception and how it works. Okay, so I'm just gonna transfer some of my knowledge and some of what I learned to you, and maybe it can give you some food for thought. All right, so I've made a few drawings here, so I'm not a very good drawer, but here we go. So this is the brain, okay? Now the brain, the bottom up here is what we call the cerebellum. The cerebellum is, so it's back here, and it's the part of the brain that coordinates movement, okay? I mean, it does a lot of things, but it's very involved in movement coordination. And then, and what it does is it's going to cross different types of information that it's getting from your senses, okay? And from your body's proprioception, okay? So basically, if I zoom in on the cerebellum's function, it takes information from your senses, so especially your visual system, so your eyes, everything you see, your vestibular system. The vestibular system is the canals between the ears, so it's like the system that tells you like what is up, what is down, how do you balance, that sort of thing. And it's going to take info from your body's, like from your proprioception. Another way of imagining proprioception, it's basically your brain's sophisticated 3D map model of your body, okay? And it's gonna take all of this info, it's gonna go, okay, when you need to move, this is how you're gonna need to move, okay? Because the eyes are telling me this, the balance is telling me this, and your body proprioception and awareness is telling me this is how you're gonna have to move and how we're gonna have to deal with this. And the cerebellum then sends this info to the motor cortex. And the motor cortex is the part of the brain that generates movement, okay? That says, okay, we've got this, let's do it, let's go this way. All right? Now, back to proprioception and the 3D model that we have of our body. The brain, how does it develop this sophisticated 3D model? It develops it largely thanks to all your movement. So the more you move, the more information it gets, all right? Now, because your brain doesn't have eyes, right? So the only way it can draw a map or model or whatever is through getting data. And where does it get data from? Well, through all the movements you've ever done. So, for example, if you are right-handed, the picture and the map that it's going to have of your right hand is going to be very, very sophisticated. It's going to be very detailed, and your brain's going to know is going to know a lot about how your right hand works and how it can move and how far it can go and so on and so forth. Okay, and its model of your left hand is less sophisticated. You know, it might be not as refined. So the more you move, the more information the brain gets, and the better and the more accurate the map is. All right. Now, ideally, you want to have a very good balanced map. Nobody's got a fully balanced map because, you know, most people are either right-handed or left-handed. That in itself has a huge impact, you know. But and also, as you age, as a kid, you move in all sorts of directions. You're learning and you're developing your proprioception. The brain's getting fed all this data, and it can draw a lot of stuff. It can build a lot of stuff. But as you age and you become more sedentary and you start working in an office or driving a car, you start having movements that are repetitive, and you have more variety in your movement. Or when you do sports, it's at set times, and we tend to do sports that involve the same muscles being worked over and over and over and over again, okay? And so as you age, your proprioception goes down, right? And because your proprioception goes down, probably your visual system, your eyes are not as good as well, your balance is not as good. Because of all these reasons, the message over here, right, that's getting sent from the cerebellum to the brain, the quality of the information is not as good, right? Because your map isn't as good as it used to be because you're not moving in all sorts of different ways like you were when you were younger. So when you're like 40 and 50, you trip over things more easily. You get injured more easily. You know what I mean? Your prediction, okay, your body's prediction of how you should be moving is not as good. So the information over here, like these, are not stacked like boom, 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 right? Like they're just, the information is just not as complete, okay, and not as accurate. So it's very important to keep developing your proprioception, which is why, you know, although it's good to do movement in general, and it's great to run, and it's great to do all sorts of things, it's really important to try to move in different ways as much as possible. And this is why I love things like parkour, I love things like martial arts and like dancing, and things that require you to move in ways that are not always comfortable and that are not always learnt. You know, you need to practice it, you know, and you need to develop, like, you know, a range of motion or a way of transferring your weight and so on and so forth. And I feel like those types of movements, methods really feed your map and your 3D model of your body, and allows you to not get injured as much, you know, and allows you to become a better mover and more coordinated and all of that. So in short, the Tracy Anderson method is really, really, in my opinion, one of the best methods when it comes to developing that proprioception. Because things like learning how to flex your hips when you're standing, well, we do that all the time because we walk, right? Like, I don't need to jog every day to get to know that. You know what I mean? Although jogging is fine and you might love it and continue doing it if you love it, but it's not going to feed my body's, like my brain's map of my body, right? But I find that the stuff that she does, she makes us do in class on her streaming program, really does feed the brain, and it really gives a lot of data to this guy over here on how to move. So there you have it. That's kind of my 10-minute explanation on one of the main reasons I love her method and continue to do it every day. But it's also a little lesson on, you know, the importance of adding variety to your movement in general. And there you go. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'm always glad to hear them. Otherwise, until next time.